Hello Nikki, hello Transport Evolved, it's Friday! I don't see why you're surprised about people not wanting to drive older EVs, G-Whizzes and so on. They are a completely different type of car from the current cars we drive. They are built from different materials, they use different technology on battery, they don't have the same pickup, they use different motors, generally DC rather than AC. They are completely different beasts. It's like comparing a three-wheeled Robin Reliant type car and a modern four-wheel car. It's that kind of comparison. We've jumped that much technology just in a relatively short period of time. And yes, I do think the Model S is a perfect business car, and I can't wait to see the CEOs of major companies all taking up the Model S. But you mentioned putting your suit in the back. Well, I believe that is a bit of a problem there because the Model S doesn't have suit hooks, I remember, which is odd. So maybe this business lease is Elon's way of saying, we're going to add suit hooks. I do believe EV meetups are a good thing to have and a good thing to go to, but it does take a certain type of person to go to these things. It takes being a fan of the technology and then a bit more to go to an EV meetup. Just like not everyone who watches Star Trek or Star Wars will go to a sci-fi convention, not everyone who drives an electric car will go to an EV meetup. There's an extra level of dedication that pushes you from fan into nerdiness. And yes, I am there, and I enjoy going to them and seeing these other cars and poking around under the bonnet. I am a nerd, I'm a geek. But I think probably the best thing to do with EV meetups is the fact there are lots of cars in one place. If they're all the same make, it works very well, but if they're all different makes, it works very well. The idea that someone walking through a car park suddenly sees row after row of Nissan Leafs, or lots of cars that all drive in and go out silently, and suddenly it twigs in their head that these cars aren't movie cars, they aren't TV cars, they aren't just something they've heard about on BBC reports. They are real, they're in the world, and there's enough of them that they're all congregated in an area to meet up. There's enough of them that they're commonplace in this one area, and I think that's a really positive message to get out there. Plus, no one's running anyone over with their deadly silent EVs. So what did I want to talk to you about? I've done a bit of driving today. I take my other half to work and back on various days of the week, and I've had a blood test this morning, so I've been all over the place. And I live in quite a rural area, you know that. It's fairly near a motorway, but it's relatively rural. At the end of my backyard, there are just fields, and it's lovely. And it gets me thinking that I've seen a lot more electric cars around where I live and in other rural areas than I've ever seen in a major city. And that being London, Bristol, I'm counting as a major city, Birmingham, those kind of places. Cardiff I go to quite a lot and never see electric cars. But when I'm out in the countryside, I tend to see more of them and more Priuses. And I wonder if there's a fundamental error going on in the marketing for electric cars. We always see the phrase city car spun about, and I think that's been thrown about more because these cars have a limited range than because they're actually fitted to the city. It makes more sense in my head that someone who lives in the countryside has a vested interest in keeping the countryside nice, keeping the air quality much nicer. And that fits with owning an electric or plug-in car far better than someone living in the city where it's already smoggy, it's already dirty, it's already smelly. Why would driving an EV matter as much to them? Especially when we don't have perks in the UK like driving in carpool lanes or driving in bus lanes. That doesn't happen in the UK. So I'm wondering, could we get a better uptake of these plug-in cars if we marketed them as a rural alternative way to get about? A way to get about without damaging your environment. A way to get about and still hear the birds in the fields as you drive by. It's a way to drive and connect with nature. And I'm going to leave you with that hippie Mark thought of the week. I shall see you on Sunday, Nikki, but I shall see you Transport Evolved on Monday. Hope you all have a lovely weekend. Goodbye.